Have you ever looked at your life and thought, why do I keep ending up here? Same patterns, same struggles, starting over again and again. And it's really easy to think, this is just how my life is. This is just who I am. But what if that's not actually true? Welcome to the Christian Life Coach Podcast. I'm Shanna, your Christian life coach. Welcome to episode 60. What? And if you're listening in real time, it is the second week of Easter, or the second week of April 2026. And happy Easter. Happy Resurrection Day. So last episode, I introduced the concept that you are creating your life right now. Not someday, not when things calm down. The question isn't if you're creating. The question is, are you creating on purpose or are you creating by default? And most of us at some point realize we've been living in default creation more than we want to be. And today we're going to talk about what keeps you in default creation mode and what to do when you recognize it. So, first of all, creating in default mode is not a personal failure. Your brain is actually doing its job because your brain is wired to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and exert as little energy as possible. So your brain is wired to stay in that default. What feels good, go after that. What doesn't feel good, avoid that and do as little as possible. It will always choose what you've already been practicing. Your brain is always going to choose what feels easiest, what gives immediate relief, immediate gratification, that whole instant gratification thing. And you're not in default creation because you don't care. It's because you just don't realize it yet. You don't have the tools. You haven't decided to create on purpose. You might not have even realized that you were creating at all. You thought you were just living life. So it isn't a moral failure. You're not a bad person. You're just human. And that's okay. And you get to decide if you want to change that or not. So, what keeps us in default is believing our thoughts without questioning them. I don't feel like it. This is too hard. I'll start tomorrow. We don't examine our thoughts. We just believe them and move on. I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to do it. That's really hard, so I'm not even going to try. I'll start tomorrow, so I'll give in today. And we just think the thoughts and we follow that path. And a lot of our thinking feels like reality. So I talk about separating the facts from the story that we tell about the facts. And we think that the story that we tell about the facts is actually the fact. So we believe what we're telling ourselves. This is just how my life is. This is just the season that I'm in. This is just what happens at my age. And we blame circumstances. We blame our schedule. We blame a specific situation that we're in. We blame that there's not enough time, or we blame that that person is the problem. And our circumstances, the facts of our life are real. but they are not what is creating our results for us. It is the way that we think about our circumstances that create our experience of our life and our life. You are not stuck because of your circumstances. You are not stuck because of the facts of your life. You're stuck because what you're believing about them. Two different people can be living in the same or very similar circumstances and create completely different results because they're thinking about those circumstances differently. They're thinking about themselves within those circumstances differently. That it is your thinking that is creating your reality, your experience of life. That is empowering, because if your thoughts have thought you here, they can think you somewhere else. And it's not the power of positive thinking. It's not toxic positivity. It's the creation process. Our thoughts generate our emotions drive our actions, and those actions that we take repeatedly create our reality, create the situations that we live in. And our actions are originated by the way that we think. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So living in this default creation, we're driven by how we feel. If you don't feel like it, you don't do it. If you do feel like it, you do it. But feelings are not enough to rely on in default mode. If I only did what I felt like doing, I would spend my whole life on my couch reading books. So that's pretty much what I feel like doing in general. So along the feelings line, we want to avoid discomfort. That is the motivational triad. We want to avoid pain. We don't want to feel bored. We don't want to feel restricted. We don't want to feel the exertion of energy. We don't want to feel uncertainty, confusion, fear, embarrassment. So we avoid feeling those things by, on default, choosing short-term relief. And when we choose short-term relief, we sacrifice long-term results. We choose to give in the moment and eat the cake. And in doing that, we are sacrificing the weight loss that we want to accomplish. We are sacrificing our reinforcing the positive habits that we want to be establishing. We react in default mode. We react rather than decide. We live in response. We're living in response to whatever's going on. In reaction mode. We are living in the moment. Just go with it. Rather than deciding ahead of time, this is what I want to do in this situation, instead of being intentional. And this is the difference between managing your life and creating your life. It could be, you could call it sleepwalking through life. You can call it living on autopilot, can default mode, unintentional, whatever, going with the flow. And then comes a moment, it might be right now, when
you become aware that you have been living in default mode. And you see, what I have created, the experience of life that I'm living right now. And it can be in one area, it can be your life in general. It can be the number on the scale, what size clothes you wear. It can be your relationship with your spouse or your relationship with your kids, the state of your house, what your house looks like when you walk in, whether or not you invite company in or you keep them outside because you don't want them to see your house, your financial situation, whatever it is. When you wake up to that and realize, oh, I've just been creating my life on default. I've just been doing what I've always done. I've been following that motivational triad. My brain's been doing its job and I didn't know. And now I know. And I want to encourage you not to give in to shame, blame, regret. You did the best you could. And maybe now you want to do differently. Maybe you want to up level that because you're learning new tools. We might feel shame. We might be frustrated. We might think I need to start all over again, but that's not necessary. So when you have that, I call it an awakening. What do? Pause. Pause and tell yourself the truth. There's no need for dramatics. I just heard somebody, I was listening to a teaching yesterday, and they said basically, be a scientist, not a soap opera star. So, what are the facts? Just tell the truth. There's no need for drama. There's really no need to be emotional about it. Just be factual. What am I doing? What am I not doing? What am I currently creating? And I would say, I mean, you can do this like overall your whole life in general, or specific in my health. What am I doing? What am I doing to take care of myself? What am I doing to my body? What am I not doing? And what am I currently creating? And it might be feeling tired. It might be not fitting into clothes in your closet. It might be feeling sluggish and living a sedentary lifestyle. And maybe it's not that extreme. Maybe it's less extreme. And again, you can look at it in every area of your life, one at a time. So get curious, come from a place of curiosity, not criticism, not saying, oh, what is wrong with me? So many things. There are so many things wrong with me. Ask yourself, what's been driving this? What are the thoughts behind the actions that I'm taking? How have I been feeling that has driven the actions that I've been taking? And you'll notice that your patterns, they make sense. Of course, this is how I've been doing things. I didn't think I had a choice. I thought this is just how I am. And now you can examine those patterns that you've been living and ask yourself, be curious. And you get to decide who you want to be. You can decide to shift from what do I feel like doing to who do I want to be? And it might be, I want to be a woman who follows through. I want to be a woman who takes care of herself. I want to be a woman who keeps her word, not just to other people, but to herself. Who do you want to be?
I like to periodically get out a piece of paper or open up a journal and at the top, write, I am a woman who, and then list out all of the things that I am a woman who that I want to be. And some of them, I'm in varying degrees of being that woman, and some of them feel like pie in the sky. But I can remind myself of who I want to be, and I can work to align that. So deciding who do I want to be, and then take one aligned action with being that person. Not all at once, not everything all at once, not expecting perfection. What's one thing that I can do, that I can practice doing to step into being that woman that I want to be? And then practice that one thing until it becomes habit, and then add something else in. Creation happens in small, repeated steps. I love to say, small steps taken consistently over time create amazing results. And this is where transformation happens. We are renewing our mind. We are reminding ourselves of who we want to be. And as we walk that out, we are transformed. And that is laid out in scripture as the creation cycle. Creation on purpose is a practice. We practice it over and over and over again until it becomes who we are. And as a reminder, I said this in last week's episode too, that transformational is not passive. It's participatory. The Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We are transformed by the power of God when we take action and actively renew our mind. Decide, I am a woman who, and go to work to be that woman. To focus on being intentional and creating on purpose. So just a reminder, you are not stuck. You are just practiced. You have just been practicing this way of being. You've practiced default thinking, default patterns, reacting in default mode. And you can start practicing intentional thinking, taking intentional action to create intentionally. You are not just living your life, you are creating it. Are you ready to start creating that on purpose? It's available to you. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, the show notes have all kinds of links to contact me, to get my book, Self-Care as Stewardship, which is an amazing resource if you want to start creating your life on purpose by taking care of yourself. This is an amazing resource. I have the Life on Purpose Planner linked in the show notes that is intentionally designed to help you live on purpose. It's what it's called, the Life on Purpose Planner. And that helps you to move into that intentional creation mode. Highly recommend it. Thank you again for being here. Remember that life coaching is life changing, one renewed thought at a time.